Woman sits looking a little disheveled, red-eyed, clearly distressed. She takes a deep breath, avoiding eye contact with the camera at first. Hi. So, this is really hard to do. I've been sitting on this for months, trying to pretend it didn't happen, trying to bury it deep inside. But it's eating me alive. I can't sleep, I can't eat properly, and every day I look at myself in the mirror, I don't recognize the person staring back. I need to tell someone. I need to confess. Not to get absolution because I don't think I deserve it, but because the weight of this secret is crushing me. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there has felt this utterly disgusting combination of thrill and shame and might understand. She looks directly at the camera, tears welling up. I cheated. I cheated on my husband, Mark. And it wasn't just a moment of weakness. It was a slow, insidious poisoning of my own life and our relationship. Mark and I have been together for 10 years, married for 7. He's a good man, a truly, genuinely good man. And that's what makes this so much worse. We have a comfortable life, a nice home, stable jobs. We'd settled into a routine, you know? The kind of routine where you know each other so well, you sometimes forget to actually see each other. We'd stopped trying a little. The sparks, the excitement, they had faded. Or maybe I had let them fade. I felt invisible sometimes, unmotivated. I'd put on some weight, felt a bit lost in the everyday grind. I wanted a change. I wanted to feel vibrant again. So I decided to get fit. I joined a new gym, and after some convincing from a friend, I invested in a personal trainer. That's where Liam comes in. Liam. He was everything Mark wasn't at the time. Or everything I perceived Mark wasn't. He was young, energetic, incredibly charismatic. He had these intense eyes that seemed to just lock onto you. He carried himself with a confidence that was almost intoxicating. Our first few sessions were strictly professional. He pushed me, challenged me, made me sweat, and I loved it. I started feeling stronger, more alive. I was proud of myself. But then things started to shift. He began complimenting me differently, not just on my form or my progress. You have a natural grace about you, even when you're struggling, he'd say. Or, you have a really beautiful smile, you know that? Small things maybe, but they landed. They landed hard because Mark hadn't said anything like that to me in years. He'd say I looked nice, sure, but it felt habitual. Liam's compliments felt observed, felt personal. Then came the conversations. During rest periods, between sets, he'd ask about my day, not just as a formality. He'd remember details from the week before. He'd listen with such genuine interest, nodding, making eye contact. He laughed at my jokes, offered advice about my work stress, even talked about his own life a little. And suddenly, training sessions weren't just about the physical exertion. They were an hour of feeling completely seen, heard, and appreciated. It was a thrill, a little secret high I looked forward to all week. Every time his hand would linger a little longer on my waist to correct my posture, or his fingers would brush my arm as he handed me a weight, a jolt would go through me. It was forbidden, yes, but it was electric. I started looking forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays with an intensity that bordered on obsession. My heart would pound just walking into the gym. The thrill of his attention, the intoxicating feeling of being desired or at least admired, was something I hadn't felt in such a long time. I started dressing a little differently for the gym, putting on a bit of makeup. It was pathetic, honestly. Size. And the guilt. It was a low hum at first, a tiny mosquito buzzing in the back of my mind. Every time I'd tell Mark about my progress at the gym or how much I enjoyed my trainer, it felt like a tiny pinprick of shame. But I pushed it away. It's harmless, I told myself. He's just good at his job. I'm just enjoying the motivation. But it wasn't harmless. The line was blurring, dissolving. We started texting outside of sessions, at first about nutrition, then about random things, jokes, memes, and then late-night messages, conversations that felt intimate, vulnerable. My phone became a dangerous extension of myself, filled with secrets. The turning point was after a particularly intense session. We were the last ones in the gym. He was showing me some stretching techniques, hands on my back, guiding my movements. The air was thick with unspoken tension. He wasn't looking at my form anymore. He was looking at me. His eyes, those intense eyes, were holding mine. And then he just leaned in. It was a soft kiss at first, tentative. And in that moment, the world just narrowed. All the years with Mark, all the self-recrimination, all the what-ifs dissolved. There was, as only the heat of his lips, the sudden jolt of his touch, and the overwhelming, undeniable thrill of doing something so wrong, so forbidden, so utterly exhilarating, and I kissed him back, with everything I had. Exhales sharply. The guilt hit me almost immediately after, a cold, hard slap to the face. As he pulled away, smiling, I felt this wave of nausea. What had I done? My heart was pounding, not just from adrenaline, but from pure, unadulterated panic. But then he kissed me again, deeper this time. And the panic faded, replaced by that intoxicating rush once more. That night, we crossed the ultimate line. Right there, in his office, after everyone else had left. It was messy, it was passionate, and it was a complete escape from my reality. For those moments, I wasn't the bored wife, the struggling professional, the invisible woman. I was desired, I was alive, I was reckless. Coming home to Mark that night, watching him sleep, felt like a scene from a horror movie. My skin felt dirty. Every touch of his hand, every casual conversation felt like a lie I was breathing into existence. The guilt was suffocating. But the shame was quickly followed by a strange, almost perverse craving for that thrill again. The danger, the secrecy. It wasn't a one-time thing. It happened again. And again. Training sessions became elaborate dances of stolen glances, loaded touches, whispered plans. My life became a meticulously crafted lie, deleting texts, wiping browser history, concocting believable excuses for late nights. Each time, the initial thrill was electric, a shot of pure adrenaline, and each time, the subsequent guilt was heavier, colder, more soul-crushing. I became a different person, distant with Mark, snappy, always in my head. I was consumed by the secret. I started hating myself. I would look at Mark, so trusting, so oblivious, and a knot of self-disgust would twist in my stomach. I was betraying the best person I knew for what? A fleeting rush? To feel seen by a man who was, ultimately, just doing his job, and maybe getting his own thrill from an affair. The double life became unsustainable. The weight of the lie was too much. The guilt started to physically manifest. I couldn't eat, I had constant headaches, my heart always felt like it was racing. One day, I just looked at myself in the mirror and didn't recognize the hollow-eyed, desperate woman staring back. I broke down. I ended it with Liam. It was brutal, quick. He was disappointed but understood. He knew it couldn't last. The silence after I told him was deafening. The emptiness that followed was crushing. And now it's over. But the secret isn't. I'm still living with it. Mark still doesn't know. Every day I wake up and I see his face, and I'm reminded of the incredible damage I've done, the trust I've shattered, even if he doesn't know it yet. The distance between us, even though it's unspoken, is immense. It's a chasm built of my lies. I don't know what to do. Do I tell him and destroy everything? Do I keep this festering secret inside me forever, letting it rot me from the inside out? I wanted the thrill. I wanted to feel something, anything, other than the quiet hum of routine. And I got it. But the cost is my soul, my integrity, my peace, and potentially everything I've built with the man I genuinely love. I feel utterly disgusted with myself. And yet, there's a tiny, desperate part of me that remembers that thrill, and that's the part that truly terrifies me. Thank you for listening. I just needed to say it out loud. To someone. Anyone. She breaks down into quiet sobs, covering her face with her hands as the video fades to black.